freedom. Deuteronomy 23. If you don't get anything out of this, because it's quite a few things I have to list, get this, that God wants us to have clean hands when we do his work, so that not only the work is good, but we're operating in the power of God through our bodies. The tool that he's given us to work is our body towards his goal. So holy do and holy living makes God happy that it's all being done unto him. Okay. So you can't be in the congregation if any of the male's private parts have been cut off or mangled. You have to be, you can't be in a congregation if you're not of legitimate birth. You can't be in a congregation of certain cultures, and the cultures has nothing to do with it, with being black or white. It has to do with the fact that if certain cultures didn't help the children of Israel, then God didn't want them in his congregation. Cleanliness in war, and war usually has to do with men. And remember, this has to do with the Old Testament, so this is not up to date to now how things are being done. But in war, you have to stay holy, even at night and sleep. If you became unclean, you had to make sure you was clean before you went forth in God. God calls for a holy way of living with doing his will, and that's what I want you to remember. You have to be holy in doing God's will, and you got to be holy in what he wants you to do, and do it his way. Not do his way, but live unholy. Other laws, it said if a slave escaped, he was to be sheltered and not brought back to his master. Live holy with your sacrifices. Don't charge interest to your brother, the people of your blood, of the bloodline of God, and given to the Lord. You do not charge them interest. The interest comes from God. He will give you interest because of what you did with your brother, that you just gave him whatever he needed, and God give you the interest. But with strangers, you could charge an interest. If you make a promise, you keep your promise. And if you wanted to eat something off of someone's vine or eat wheat, you could do that, but you couldn't go in there and start cutting up their property of the vines or the wheat. You could just eat enough that you can carry in your hand, and needed to get you a bite of eat. Again, this is Old Testament, and even in the New Testament, though, we are to do God things the way God wants it to be done, and then also the vessel that we use needs to be sanctified unto the Lord. That's our bodies. So we have to be holy and live holy and do holy things. So that's my time.